Hey guys, it's Janice at Ozark Family Homestead, and I hope you can hear me because it is a little bit windy here outside. It just feels like fall. I don't know, can you see leaves blowing behind me? The wind is blowing, yellow leaves are everywhere out here, and it is a beautiful fall day. So on my to-do list today, actually fall of every year, making sauerkraut. Specifically fermented sauerkraut, and I like to use green cabbage, red cabbage, or purple cabbage, and carrots in my sauerkraut, plus salt. Those are the only ingredients in it. So very easy to make, but I'm going to get started on it today, and I thought I would take you guys along with me. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to get the big crock that I make the sauerkraut in. Oh, crazy hair, guys. The big crock, and I keep that in our root cellar. So I'm going to take you over there to the root cellar, and I'll just show you what the root cellar looks like inside while we're over here. This is where we keep our home canned fruits, vegetables, whatever too. So I'm going to spin the camera around and I will show you what it looks like inside the root cellar and where I keep the stoneware crocks at. So we'll let the camera hopefully adjust to the lighting here. I do want to point out it is over 80 degrees right now outside, but in the root cellar here we're right at 60 degrees. There is a huge difference in the temperature between inside and outside. So here is where I keep my stoneware crocks. I have two of the larger ones and then a smaller one here. We keep extra candles and things like that here for emergency purposes, but because it stays so nice and cool in here. Otherwise, this is where we keep our canned goods. We've got some broth, tomato sauce, cranberry juice. I do keep some fresh produce in here, like potatoes and squash, things like that. We have quite a bit of canned chicken on the shelf, as well as some canned carrots here in the back. And then, let's see, there's some green beans and some just chopped up tomatoes, applesauce, some apple jelly. Actually, it's apple syrup. It did not gel well, so apple syrup. There's some salsa, kind of more like a rotel right there. Apple pie filling. Let's see, is this apple jam maybe? I'm not sure. Watermelon rind pickles and more watermelon rind pickles here. Oh, there we go. The coloring threw me off there. So, and then some fats in jars too. So these right here, these are pepper plants. We are going to try overwintering pepper plants this year and see if it works out to where we can get an earlier harvest next year. But they're going to live in here and they're going to look awful, but hopefully this works. And then water glassed eggs. I have 9 buckets of water glassed eggs in here for the winter. I also keep my year's stash of vinegar down here as well. So I am going to pick up this stoneware crock. I'm not going to attempt to do this one-handed with the camera because I will probably drop it and break it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these, take it on into the house, and we'll get it washed up and ready to go so we can make some fermented sauerkraut. All right, so I've got this in here, and you can see inside, being in that root cellar, it's messy. It's even got a spider webby in there. Needs to be thoroughly cleaned up. I've pulled out some of my other tools that I use. This is a weight that will keep the sauerkraut submerged under the liquid. And this is my big monstrous kraut pounder that I got from Lehman's many years ago. So I need to wash all this stuff up. I need to collect my food ingredients, and then we will be ready to get started. Rebekah, did you just wake up? Look at that sleepy face. Did you have a good nap? Mm-hmm. You slept a long time, didn't you? Oh. Do you know you woke up and were singing a song in your sleep? Sam and I heard you. You were singing a song. You're silly.
How did it in my sleep?
Singing a song in your sleep. I'm going to make some sauerkraut. You going to help me? You get a snack and then you can help me? Okay, let's go.
Actually, we don't have to have a night because they were so sleepy. Then they'll help them and make some food.
You will? Okay, let's go. Oh, you guys, I got sidetracked. So I brought all that stuff into the kitchen for the sauerkraut. And then a friend called and I was on the phone for 40 minutes talking to her. But it was good. But I need to get back on track. And I need to get the sauerkraut done because I still have supper to make tonight. Can you see my ducks? Oh, look at them sweet ducky ducks. They are good babies. I could just sit and watch them. We could just sit here with the camera and watch the ducks. Now I'm going to the summer kitchen because this is where I have the cabbage. I have my red cabbage and my green cabbage out here. The carrots are in the house. But we're going to go out here and grab the last of our supplies. Okay, so Sarah made applesauce today. She got 8 pints of applesauce done, some chunky applesauce. I'm going to grab the, she's going to make some more jelly. I'm going to grab the cabbages out of here and get them on back to the house, and then we'll get started. This would be easier in that big industrial sink out in the summer kitchen, Sarah. We're gonna make do. I'm actually fermenting this on purpose here in the house so I can keep an eye on it. Kind of a out of sight, out of mind if it's in the summer kitchen. And I need to, I will need to be checking this to make sure that the water does stay up over the top of the brine stays up over the top of the vegetables so they don't go moldy or anything. And I feel like if it's right in here on my kitchen counter, I will keep an eye on it better, won't I, Sarah? Yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna rinse this off and then we're gonna start chopping up cabbage and carrots and getting this thing done because we still have supper to make. It's tacos, it's an easy supper, but still I need to get people fed. So, do the next thing. Okay, so the recipe that I use loosely is out of the Nourishing Traditions cookbook. And I've had this thing for years. It is falling apart. It's kind of half a resource book, a research book, and half a recipe book, kind of. But it is on page 92 of this book. Sauerkraut makes 1 quart. I'm not going to put the recipe in there because I'm sure it's probably copyrighted with that book there. We do have the book in our family's Amazon storefront though, and I will put a link either in a comment or in the description box for that. Now back here behind me, I have things set up. I'm going to get started by chopping up the cabbage. I'm going to do a green cabbage and then the red cabbage and then another green cabbage. I like to chop the cabbages up by hand. I have a food processor and I will probably use the food processor for the carrots. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but when I chop the cabbages up by hand, I feel like they stay crisper than if I chop them up with the food processor. I have no scientific evidence of this at all. Just over the years of doing this, that's what I feel like. So I am going to do the cabbages by hand. I'm going to utilize some coarse sea salt in there as well. And I will get out the food processor at the end to do the carrots. So I'm going to go ahead and get started chopping things up. Usually, traditionally in our family, a younger child, so it'll probably be Abigail or Rebekah, will be the smasher. They take the kraut pounder there and they start pounding stuff in the stoneware crock, and they think it's good fun. So I will go recruit a small child to be my kraut pounder while I'm chopping things up. So I'm just chopping it up kind of thinly here. And then I'm going to put it in that crock. And you can cut it as big or as small as you want to. Okay, baby, here we go. And then my kraut pounder over here is going to just start smushing. And I'll keep adding. And you're going to be surprised after a while, water is going to start coming out of that pounded cabbage that is in the crock, and there's more water in there than I think you would expect there to be. And then once we add the salt to the cabbage and that water, it makes a brine, and that brine helps to preserve this. I can keep fermented sauerkraut in the refrigerator for a year, 2 years. It really does ferment it and preserve it, and keep it to where you can enjoy it for a long time. Okay, baby, here's some more. There you go. I like to do a green one, and then I like to do the red one, and then I like to do another green one, and I eyeball it. I want it to be pretty and colorful. Some people just do all green sauerkraut, and that works just fine and dandy. But I like the colors in it. I like pretty food, and I feel like all the colors in here make it pretty. So that's why I'm adding the red cabbage and the carrots.
And if you're wondering, I love sauerkraut.
And you love sauerkraut too? Yes. Abigail loves the sauerkraut. See? So that's fitting that you get to be the kraut pounder since you like it.
Yeah.
Here's some more. Okay, Sarah, will you bring the camera over here and get a before shot of the cabbage? And then we'll do an after shot a little bit later. Just see, what it looks like in there. And we'll show as it changes over a little bit of time here. So I finished chopping up one of the cabbages, that little green cabbage I was just working on. For about each cabbage that you put in the crock here, you're going to want to use about 2 tablespoons of salt. What I use, I get this from Azure Standard. It doesn't come in this. This is an old honey jar. This is just what I store it in. It's coarse Celtic sea salt from Azure Standard. I buy it in a 22-pound bag so that I get the best deal. And we use this just for food cooking, and then of course for preservation and stuff like that too. Adding this to the cabbage is going to help draw that water out. So Sarah, let's do a little look here again as we get started, and then you'll be able to see the difference as it gets bashed around in there a little bit more. Of course, the salt's going to get mixed in to the cabbage, and it's going to draw the water out as well. So Abigail is going to get back to work in pounding that cabbage, and I'm going to get to work adding the red cabbage, and we're just going to repeat. Throw in a cabbage, throw in 2 more tablespoons of salt. Put in another cabbage, put in 2 more tablespoons of salt. And all that time, be bashing it up, and at the very end, I'll add the carrots.
And also, you're getting juice out of that. You have to go hard on it so it's juice, and also you smash it up.
The sauerkraut pounders have the biggest muscles,
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to arm wrestle Andrew and win.
Really?
You could try.
Yeah, I'll lose.
You could tell him I've been pounding sauerkraut, so prepare yourself, and he might just give up. All right, let's add some of this. This is when it starts to look pretty.
Yeah, this is my favorite part.
This is your favorite part. Ding ding. Ding ding. 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 The sound of the sauerkraut. There we go, tickled. Here comes some more.
Okay.
All right, time to add 2 more tablespoons of salt. Here we go.
Yep.
That's a little too heaping. 1, 2. Keep going. Ding. Ding ding.
I guess that's what the thing says. Ding ding.
It's really a pretty quick process.
Yeah, I remember when we were younger, we kept on doing it. I'm like, boom, 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 boom.
Drop it here on those leaves. Are you seeing any water, any juicy coming out of it just yet?
Yep.
Or you do? Well, good.
You can only see because the light green is turning dark green, and that's I think is when the juice mixes or something. I don't know.
Oh, I do want to say that you don't necessarily have to have this big kraut pounder in order to make fermented cabbage, sauerkraut. You can just use your hands and you can get in there and you can squeeze and squish and it'll work just as well. You will get those fluids coming out. We make such a big batch of it though. I don't think I would want to do it by hand for the big batch that we do. If you're doing a smaller batch, you don't even have to invest in something like this. But we find it handy since I'm doing the large family version of sauerkraut. But there you go. The next step is going to be to go ahead and get these carrots shredded up. And I'm using my food processor for this. It just makes it quicker. And I do think I have my food processor in our family's Amazon storefront. So if you're interested in this, check it out. If you buy something after clicking on our link, you know, the product goes to you, but we get a little bit of a commission from Amazon, and it helps. It helps our family. So if you're interested in something that we have in our Amazon storefront, I appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. I don't like using the food processor because it's noisy, but it sure does make things a whole lot easier. Seriously, it's that quick. So I may add more. Again, I eyeball it. So, and I will take these little pieces and do these by hand. But So much easier. And that's what I'm going to add. There's another piece that didn't get chopped up, but these will go in there as well, and we might do some more. We'll just see how it looks when it's all thrown in there.
Oh boy. That's a lot of carrots.
It's a lot of carrots.
Yeah.
There we go. And we'll scrape it. Go ahead, you can pound that up.
It's red.
I am going to add another tablespoon of salt for the carrots, for the portion with the carrots in it. There you go. Noisy. Okay. You ready for an update, Abigail? Yeah. So Sarah's getting taco meat cooked up for us. We had to relocate because everybody is getting hungry and cranky. We need some food. So tacos are in the making. And Abigail has not been doing this whole time. David took a turn and Anna took a turn as the official sauerkraut pounder. This is where we're at. Give it a good squish so they can see the juice. Look at that juice coming up out of there. Good stuff. Let's see, we got a shadow. I hope that shows up for you guys. You can see just how juicy it's getting. So, what we're gonna do next? Are you about ready to be done?
Yeah.
We're gonna eat it with our tacos. Sauerkraut and tacos. Yum, yum. Okay, where is my little thing? Where did I move it to? Oh, it's right here. It's hiding right here. Okay. What we're gonna do next is this is going to go in here and it is going to press down all of the goodness here. We are also gonna take a spatula and scrape the sides so we don't have these little flakes left everywhere. We're gonna scrape all that down. We're gonna put our wooden board in there. I'm pretty sure I got this from Lehman's also, I think, years and years ago. And then I will come back and show you how I weigh this wooden plate down on there. I take a gallon jug, I have a glass gallon jug that is clean on the outside. I fill it with water so it has some weight to it, and I put that in there. So that is what we are going to do next. And Abigail is happy that her kraut pounding for the year is done. So check it off. Check. All right, here. So I am taking a spatula and just trying to scrape down the edges, because all of this stuff here that's going to be above the water line, not submerged here. Sorry guys, I'm not holding the camera in the right spot. It will probably mold. So we want everything as much as we can get down under there. Let's see. This will go right inside there. And then, can you see that water coming up when I press on it? That's what we want. And that's what that jar is gonna do. When I put this jar, I've got it sitting right there full of water. We're gonna set that in here, and it's gonna keep weight down on this. And as time goes on here, there's gonna be more and more water because that salt in there is just gonna extract more and more. I just wanna make sure all of the vegetables in there are kept submerged so it doesn't mold. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up. I can't do it with, here, Sarah, are you available to grab the glass jar right here? And I'll film you setting it in here.
Right now?
Yep, just right in the center. There you go. And that water is up there, and that's going to keep all that goodness there below. Now, I do still want to protect it, so you know, gnats or whatever, dust even, doesn't get in here. So I'm going to take a kitchen towel and drape it over this. And we're going to leave this setting on the countertop. Get down off my step stool. We're going to leave it sitting on the counter for 2 to 3 days. It depends on the heat of your house, and it depends on how you personally like sauerkraut. And we're going to take a taste of it, like every day. And whenever it starts tasting like what we like, then we'll do the next step. But I'm going to take you guys along for that. Are you going to be the official taste tester?
Like 4 days.
Okay, we're just going to throw a kitchen towel over this, try to set it in an out of the way space here in the kitchen, and we will be back taking more video tomorrow when we do our taste test. Say good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
See you tomorrow. All right, guys, we are back. So you remember how I said that we were going to come back like the next day and look at the sauerkraut? It's been more than a day. This is, I think this is day 3. I skipped day 1 and I skipped day 2. It was just too busy and I was away from the house a whole bunch, so it didn't happen. But I have opened it up, so I've already taken the towel off, the rubber band that we had on there before, and I've peeked in here, and I am going to turn the camera around and I'll show you what it looks like in there. It may gross some of you out. It's different, and I want you to see what it looks like before I kind of clean it up, and then we will give it a taste. And if it's ready, which I think it will be, then we'll go ahead and put it in a jar. So that's kind of what I'm thinking tonight. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and we'll see what it looks like. All right, we are looking in here. And let's see if my camera will focus. Can you see the little white bubbles in there? That's normal. I get that each time. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to remove this jar with water that is holding down the wooden, that piece of wood that is keeping everything submerged under the water. I'm going to pull this out, clean this up, and I'm going to get a spoon and I'm going to start scraping up some of this bubbly white stuff here. And then we're going to see what everything looks like. So David is my cameraman here, and what I'm going to do is I've just gotten a little plate I'm going to put here, and I'm going to take this out. David, you're showing this too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm just going to remove it and set it there on that plate. Okay, David, come on in here and let's look. It's a bit orangey in there, and that's going to be like from the carrots and stuff. Oh, and that just came up to the surface. So I'm going to take this out, and some of this white foam is going to come with it. Okay. I'm going to set this aside. And now I'm going to go in here and scrape this white and just get rid of it here. Okay. Got most of it. It's not that this stuff is going to make you sick or anything. It just doesn't look very appetizing, I don't think. So, I'm going to rinse this off. Okay. Come on in here, David, and I'm going to, can you see? It's packed hard down in there. This is what it looks like. Oops, you're knocking stuff over. There you go, knocking off peanut butter jar lids. You got it, David? This is what the, about to say kombucha. This is not kombucha, this is sauerkraut. This is what the sauerkraut looks like. Oh my goodness. It's a nice purple color because of that cabbage. So, yep, it is good all down in here. We do need to take a taste and just see. I like the colors. Let's see. It's good. It's crunchy. I don't know if you can hear, it's very crunchy still. It's got a sourness to it, but it has a good taste. So this is good stuff. Okay, next step. The next step is going to be that we spoon this out and end up putting it into glass jars. Quart jars is what I like to use, and then we're going to store it in the refrigerator. By putting it in the refrigerator, that cooler temperature will keep it. It may still ferment some, but it's going to vastly slow that fermentation process down and keep it so that it will store for, I mean, many, many months. I've actually kept sauerkraut for over a year in the refrigerator, and it's been great. So what we'll end up doing is we will pause the video here. I will go collect the jars and the things that I'm going to need, funnels and stuff like that, to transfer this over to jars, and then we'll be back and we'll film that next step. So I have filled up the first jar here. This is kind of what it is looking like. I really like the color of it. I think it's pretty. Here, we'll move that peanut butter that keeps falling off. Can you see her? What is it? Do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. What is it?
Candy.
Candy. It's candy. Mama made a jar full of candy. Yeah, it's sauerkraut, baby. Later. Banana chips later. Right now we're doing sauerkraut. So at this point I'm going to take here, come on in here and you can show everybody what it looks like. There's quite a bit of juice still in here with the sauerkraut. And as I am spooning things out, I'm getting some of that juice along with the sauerkraut and putting it in the jar. Shawn, look here at this one here. You can see, I mean, as I push down, there's a lot of juice in there. And I did not purposefully ladle juice out. It just came out with the sauerkraut. So I'm going to show you how I fill this one up, because I do take scoops of the sauerkraut and then I do compress everything in there after I put some of the sauerkraut in. Here. Then I will move the funnel so I can get this spoon in there. Are you looking right here? I want everybody to see how I'm pressing down to get as much as I can in there, and then that juice does start to come to the surface too. And then I'm going to put some more in. And I am going to keep doing this until I have my jar just about full. Because the trick is, whenever you do finish with your jar, when you have that jar filled as full as you want to, you have to make sure that water is thoroughly covering all of the vegetable stuff in there. Anything that is above the water is likely to mold. And you don't want to put all this effort into making fermented sauerkraut and then have to pitch it because it has molded. So again here, I'm going to now, it compresses quite a bit and that juice comes up. If at the end you have your jar filled up and you just don't have enough juice to cover all of the veggies in there, you can add water to the jar so that the fluid goes up above all the sauerkraut in there. That's not going to hurt anything. So we are about there on this one. Pressing it down and all that water.
You're wonderful.
I'm wonderful, 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 wonderful.
Can I have some apple cider?
Tomorrow. Apple cider tomorrow. We are cleaning up. We've already had supper and it is cleanup time. Okay, yeah, all that juice There's more juice in there than you think. So we will finish this one up, and I'm not going to film, you know, emptying the rest of this, but that's what I am going to do off camera. And then whenever we do come back with the camera on, I will have this crock emptied, and I will have everything in the empty jars that I have here, and we can see what it looks like after I get all the jars filled up, kind of where we stand at that point. All right, so out of those cabbages and the carrots that we shredded up, chopped up, put in the crock here, I did end up with about a gallon of sauerkraut. Now it is tightly compressed in these jars, so there's actually quite a bit in there. And this is how they ended up looking. If I take the spoon and press down, water will come up to the top. But I want more water in here to keep any of these little bits from molding. And that's what I've done with this jar right here. I did add water, and it's not to the tippity top of the jar, but it is just enough to where it is covering the vegetables that are in there. Now, I will tell you, if you do open up a jar and you do have a little bit of mold there on the top, you can scrape that off the top. Everything down lower in this jar here should be just fine. And I know that's probably icky for some of you, but we've been doing this fermented sauerkraut for years now, and it is absolutely fine. It preserves super well. So we are going to go ahead and add, here, let me just grab another jar, see if I can do this one-handed. We're going to come over here, turn the water on, and I'm just going to fill it up a little bit there. Okay, there should be plenty of water in there to keep all the veggies and stuff from being exposed to the air. I'm going to finish that up with the other two. Then I'm going to put lids on these and take them to the refrigerator. All right, guys, lids and rings are on the jars. I think they are pretty. I am pleased with them. And at this point, we're going to put them in the refrigerator. Now, obviously, you can eat it right away. It tasted just fine and dandy whenever I took that bite out of the crock there. But I do think the flavor, I like it better after it is cold and it has set for a while. I think the flavor improves. Now, if you let it go too long, it will lose that crispiness and it will start to have a softer texture to it, which I don't like quite as much, but it takes a very long time, like months and months and months, I mean, over a year for us, for it to lose its crunch and that good texture that we like. So it preserves it super well. And I think it's easy. For the most part, it's hands off. It's just time, that 3 days waiting for it to finally ferment. And I'm not sure if I have mentioned this or not. This is a great source of natural probiotics that our family uses. I have already made up a huge batch of fermented pickles from cucumbers that we've gotten from our garden. That's already in the refrigerator. So over time, we have plenty of fermented foods to use to get probiotics for our family. And if you do try this out, let me know in the comments. I think it's neat. It's something that, at least for me, it was a skill that seemed very daunting. It seemed like something that, I can't do that, but it's really easy. Once you actually do it, you're like, why did I think that was such a big deal? It was not a big deal at all. I can totally do this, and you can totally do this. It is very, very easy. And I would love to hear about it in the comments. So if you like the video, please do a thumbs up, double check that you are subscribed, and share our family's channel with others, please. Share specific videos or just the channel in general. And it would help our family's channel to grow, and I would appreciate it. So we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Ozark Family.